So we have the fast-moving, action-packed sequel to The Crow explodes on screen with hot new stars Vincent Perez and sexy Mia Kirshner. After a brutal attack by an evil drug cartel, the murder victim, Perez, is brought back to life by a mysterious crow. With the help of a beautiful woman named Sarah, he exacts revenge on his killers one by one, only to realize his enemy, the lethal Judah, has discovered the one weakness that can destroy him forever. Powered by sizzling, chart-topping soundtrack, The Crow, City of Angels, is an intense and exhilarating motion picture experience. And now, the exclusive director's cut features never-seen-before footage, hot music video, and a rare Brandon Lee interview.
Well, yeah, let's put a million quotes around director's cut. Not a director's cut.
The Weinstein cut.
That's gracious.
So the things that are different, because everyone says it's just like a rehash of the first one, but it wasn't meant to be. It's not lovers anymore. It's father and son.
Which I like.
Yeah.
I like that.
That changed right away. It's like, okay, this is different enough. Well,
It shifts the dynamic.
Yeah, it's a different type of mourning and whatnot. He is a mechanic, which is something. So they took things that were left out of the comic, and one of them was like the whole mechanic thing. Because Eric was a mechanic in the original, not a rock star. They changed that. I like that. So buried in this movie is a plot line that's completely abandoned, where he's like, wait a minute, but now that I'm back, I kind of like this girl.
Yeah.
And I want to stay on Earth with her. So that adds an extra element to it, which gets swept away. And then we find out that there are bad guys who are aware of the Crow and like magic and stuff and how they can use it for their purposes. And like I said, Harvey Weinstein went, no, tone all that down. Edit everything to look how it's supposed to look. I don't know. How do you feel about this film? We'll go down the line.
Yeah.
To be honest, man, I know there's probably a good movie in there somewhere.
Yeah.
There are things that are cool. There is just a vibe, this movie, that I just don't like, and I can't shake it. It's just, it's overall, like I said, the concepts are good, but just the way people act and just like I use it's very European feeling, and it's
Vincent Perez was like a big European star.
Yeah,
they brought him over
yeah.
a little, maybe a little too early. Like,
they were a little overzealous with that.
Well, I mean, Hollywood loves to do that. They're like, "What's his name? Arnold? Does he have a good American accent?" No. All right, make him the star of the movie. Well, I just said no.
Well, there's certain things, like especially in the movie, where like the one part with the whole Judah is like, oh, there can't be any witnesses. I'm like, there are no cops in this city.
Yeah,
what do you give a shit that there's a witness?
I don't think we ever see a cop in this movie at all.
So you don't have to kill the little boy. Like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, like I said, there is a glimmer of a good movie in there, but the overall thing just doesn't.
Well, one of the things that helps, I think, is that they got some people from the original film to come back. Like I think the production designer came back. I think the guy who did the music. So it looks and sounds great. It's a very good looking movie. The miniatures look really, really great.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. The God Saves, and, like the little miniatures of the building and stuff like that. That's still almost if it actually is better than the Brandon Lee one.
Yeah, the miniature wise, I agree with that. Where do you land on this one?
Yeah, I would say the same. Like it has potential there, but they never actually like meet that potential.
Yeah.
Like it definitely still has the same like dark aesthetic that the original Crow has, but it just kind of like leaves you hanging, in my opinion. I do like the father-son dynamic because there's always like that's always going to be, heartfelt or whatever. But same thing, like he literally contemplates just like, my kid, nah, fuck that. I like her. Like, and that you're like, well, hold on a second. Like, I was with you until this point, and now I'm not with you here. And then, like you said, they just drop that plot, like as if it didn't even happen. So all in all, like it's okay, but it doesn't meet that expectation of like the one that the first one left.
Yeah,
it kind of like it slowly takes a few steps down.
You're talking about acting, okay? Mira Kirshner is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
she is drop dead gorgeous in this. But holy shit, every scene.
Yeah,
her eyes are trying to explode out of her head.
I wrote that down. I'm like, why is Sarah acting so stupid? That's literally my note.
She's just, every single scene, she's just wide-eyed. Like I'm just like,
don't
what the
know.
fuck is happening? Why is she like that?
And then like that tilts her head and just like why are you doing? You're not an owl.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of shots of just eyes in this.
Yeah, and it's a facial expression that you're like, there's no thoughts back there. Like there's nothing. This is just a blank look. Like it's
Like a
almost
buffering.
yeah, it's almost like when a moment like it's like, did you forget your lines? Are you lost? Like what are you doing?
So yeah, Sarah grew up. She kept the cat.
Gabriel, yeah.
The cat's
Yeah.
still kicking. She kept the tragedy mask, which
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wrongfully called a jester mask in the other review. Sorry, no one called me out on it. I noticed it. Yeah, and for some reason, I guess because of her experience with Eric, she is drawn to whatever supernatural force allows the crow to come back. So she's
Yeah.
kind of, because remember, the first movie would have had a person explaining things to Eric,
Yes.
but then Brandon Lee got shot and they went, sorry, Michael Berryman, we're rewriting it. We're just not going to explain shit. And it actually
Yeah.
almost works a little bit better.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like the you know, we don't yeah. The thing is it was just a revenge mission. That's it. You don't need he just needs to get the job done and that's it. That's all it works. And this one you could tell obviously there was some point to it.
Yeah.
Why it might need to be explained based off the original ending that they were going to have.
Yes,
You know what I
yes,
mean?
yes. So she's there to kind of explain things to him. You couldn't do the Skull Cowboy in this one? I just want to see the fucking Skull Cowboy. Like, that's going to be a running theme. Like, why?
It was pretty cool. To be honest, I thought we could have got something like that in the new one.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
We will get to that. I was very mad about that. Yeah, so she's there to explain things to him. And then this becomes like a theme with these sequels. How are they going to get him to put the makeup on? They got lucky with this one. They're like,
Yeah.
this girl was around for the first one, so she's doing it as a tribute to Eric. She draws the thing on him, and he never
Yeah.
goes, what are you doing?
Yeah, right.
Stop it. I'm not that guy. What the fuck? Stop making me like that guy. I don't want to paint my face. The crow himself, Ash, he's okay.
Yeah,
He's okay.
I'm not big with it. Like, I don't like the why is your belly showing in your shirt?
Well, I was gonna say he looks like if Joey C designed the crow, it would be this 100%. He looks like he plays in the band Him or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I did like how his jacket had like two little flaps that were supposed to look like wings.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did that on purpose, so he
Yeah.
would do that when he rode the motorcycle.
Yeah, but that's part of like the rehashiness of it. It's like, oh, his
Yeah.
face is also painted. Oh, and he's also wearing kind of the same thing. I do like his superhero suit up.
And then he feels the power surging through him when he grabs his fist. It's like, you already the leather didn't add anything to that.
But like I said, it's not his fault. He was struggling with the English language a little bit, but it's mostly okay until he's trying to be cocky and jokey, and it's just. It's rough. Like
Him yelling is the worst.
his yelling is really bad when he shows up at the jerk off booth. Which,
Oh, yeah.
if those things were real, I guess that was before our time. I've
No,
never.
we got one in Baltimore.
I know where I'm going next time. Well, I just want to experience. I'm like, were this like a real thing?
I was looking up arcades on Google. And those things are called arcades.
Oh, yeah.
And I looked it up. I'm like, I don't think this is the arcade I'm looking for.
I've always seen those in shows and movies, and I'm just like, I've been to some skeevy places, but I've never seen that as an option
20
anywhere.
minutes down the road from our house next time you come by.
Well, isn't it like, is it Amsterdam or something where they have the red light district and it's the women behind like the windows and stuff?
Yeah.
And so I guess it's kind of like a twist.
It's sort
on
of like that, like
little
a
bit,
peep show
'cause
sort
you
of
get
thing.
the red backlight and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but
you got to
it
buy
was-
tokens and everything. Because that was one of the Google complaints. They're like, when are the girls there to buy tokens? I'm like, "But I don't think you need girls to play.
Well, the point is, in
Super
that
Street Fighter.
in that scene, he like shows up instead of the girl. And he's like, "Do you want me, baby?" And it's like, ah.
Okay, I actually kind of like that part. I thought that was funny.
Do you want me? Baby.
Yeah, so his whole cockiness didn't really work for me. And this actor, though, would redeem himself. He was one of the vampires in Queen of the Damned, which I
Great movie.
reviewed. So yeah, our hero, maybe we're not too hot on our heroes, but we got some great villains. We have early Tom Jane.
Yep.
Thomas Jane. He's the one in the jerk off booth.
And
Yeah.
the thing is, they said he's modeled after glam rock. I'm like, What? I've never seen someone wear a Bozo the Clown wig.
His wig.
No.
I didn't realize that was Tom Jane for a long
Right?
time.
Oh my God! Until you read the IMDb.
Yeah, and you're like, oh shit, that's Tom Jane. Yeah, his wig. I think his wig falls off in a scene, and they just left it in. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
The late Thuy Trang, the Yellow Ranger.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Rest in
And
peace.
of course, earlier today, I said, Tony, you have like 5 action figures of the Yellow Ranger. You should put them on the set. And then I just never did. Yeah, her big scene got completely trimmed down. She was
Yeah.
supposed to have an extended fight scene with the Crow. Because 1, she actually knew martial arts.
Yeah.
And 2, she's the one who actually killed his son.
Yeah.
So it would have had more of an impact. And then they went, nah, cut it down.
They cut it in the comic. Like, did you want me to talk about that? Like,
Yeah, you can
okay.
talk about the comic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the comic is like you were talking about the original Vision. If you want the majority of the original Vision, if you do buy the comic, that is like the original like screenplay because a lot of things that were taken out of the movie are in the comic.
Which happens a lot with comic adaptations.
Yeah.
Because they're made ahead of time. And they're like, oh, we changed everything. I'm like, well, fuck you. It's out.
Or like even if you open it up, it looks like Eric Draven in the comic. The guy drew him like Eric Draven. Which he looks.
Whoopsies.
I mean, it's not the best artwork, but
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah. So like there's one scene where she stabs him to explain you can't die. That's in the comic. That's not in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that from Cecil's video. That's
Yeah.
why, like, when he leaves Sarah's, he's just grabbing his belly.
Yeah.
And you're like, what's wrong with him?
Yeah. And that's the one thing is like that fight scene. Unfortunately, the comic is kind of a streamline of that
Yeah.
director's cut, so it is very short too.
Yeah.
unfortunately.
But yeah, she's basically Bai Ling's character from the first one.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Not really. They kind of split Bai Ling's character. They're like magic lady and then the Asian psychopath. We're gonna split those characters in half.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing is they add that element to the movie. I'm like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Why can't we just have like why do we have to add so much? Can he just be the only supernatural part of the movie?
Well, I mean, the Bai Ling in the first one, they needed like someone who was aware of like the spirit world.
Which they had
Yeah.
to kick back on that because they said that role was technically racist.
In the first one?
In the first one, yeah, Brandon Lee was kind of fighting for them to take it out of the. They
Wow.
dumbed it down a little bit. He was trying to fight.
Oh
it
yeah,
out
they
of it.
probably it was probably way more offensive.
Yeah.
I could probably see that. But yeah, I mean, the original ending of the first Crow. I don't think they were going to do the whole them shooting the Crow. It was literally the Skull Cowboys like, no, your mission's done.
Yeah,
because I guess he just doesn't know about Top Dollar.
yeah.
I guess because he was indirectly responsible and not directly. It's like,
Yeah.
no, you're done. And he's just like, all right, if you save Sarah, you have no powers. Goodbye.
Yeah.
And that's what the what's the villain? I just said his name. What's the villain's name again?
In,
the City of Angels.
Judah.
Judah. So that's the one thing is when I don't know if that's a scene that was added because that's not part of the comic, but like where that the scene of him in the car and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, Judah sent the order to have him killed.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of those added scenes they must.
It feels
added
very added,
because
yeah.
it's like it doesn't make sense because technically once he killed all the killers, he could just go
Yeah.
back.
Well, again, they not only did they re-edit it, they did reshoot. So I think
Yeah.
they added that to be more like the first one.
yeah, which it makes sense.
Yeah, we got Iggy in here.
Finally, he was supposed to be in the first one.
Yes, he was supposed to be the first one. Apparently, the Crow was somewhat modeled after him, I heard.
It was shit. I forgot his name, but Peter Murphy and Iggy Pop were the two as Peter Murphy's face and Iggy Pop's body for the body the Crow. And that the Michelangelo David picture that he put in there, that is definitely you can like you look at those two and you're like, oh, 100%.
Yeah. He has one of the best line reads in history. You think I'm afraid of you? You think I'm afraid? I remember for years I was like, what did he say? I'm like, I had to like slow it. I'm like, oh, he said afraid. It just seems like he was grunting for a long period of time.
He can't this and also is this is like one of no, he done Tank Girl already? So he's probably been acting for like a hot minute now. This probably wasn't his like first movie.
No, this probably wasn't his first movie, but I like his character arc of I got the wrong tattoo. He's like, these look like two demons, and everyone's like, no, that's a bird, buddy.
That's a fucking bird. that is a bird. It's not two demons fighting. Not one bit.
He was pretty fun, and they have a fun little like motorcycle chase or something at some point.
Yeah.
His death scene was pretty cool. They really like the fire outline of the crow in the first one. They're like,
Yeah.
we got to find more excuses to have crow outlines.
I know, right? The things they came up with throughout all these movies, it's like, oh my god.
The flowers.
Yeah.
That wouldn't happen.
So like a crazy lady is just throwing flowers into the water as he's floating, and they shape like the crow, and then Thuy gets thrown out, and her blood splatters like a crow.
Oh my god. This movie is it's a movie.
Again, Tom Jane, he's there. His thing is like he likes to videotape everything.
Yeah.
It's like his favorite thing in the world. Then you got the big. I'm sure there were a few others. Who cares? They got Judah. They got Judah, who is a little interesting because he's aware of this supernatural stuff.
Yeah.
And they cut all that backstory out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they actually that actually, for surprisingly, that's not in the comic. And I don't know if, like I said, if the comic is it's like very force fed to you, like really fast to get the entire movie because it's only 3 issues.
Yeah.
Like I just read the Django comic. That's 7 issues, and it's the movie.
Yeah.
It's the original screenplay.
Jesus.
So like. Like the fact that this is 3 issues is like, okay, this is like a 30-minute long movie. If you think about it. But yeah, they took that out too. But they left the line in too.
Yeah, they left the line about how he went to hell.
Yeah.
That I didn't know until Cecil's video. I'm like, wait, he really went to? I'm like, because that line, I'm like, could you elaborate? What did you see down there?
Yeah.
Did you run into Spawn? What did you do down there?
That's the thing is like the fact that they even left it in the comic. I'm like, well, then why don't we have at least 2 pages of scene?
Yeah.
It makes it still makes no sense.
Yeah, and it would explain why he has that like vision person lady.
Which is another thing that they add to the movie. It's like, why?
Who in this cut becomes a good guy, but they are still a bad guy in the original version.
yeah.
But since they edited it to make her seem like a good guy, it's like, why did she decide to become a good guy all of a sudden?
Literally until up until the end, and then she's like, I'm gonna help her.
You're not the only prisoner.
Yeah.
No,
You're
I don't work that way.
Girl, I feel you chose to be here. I did not choose to be here. I'm a little confused.
So, yeah, so like I said, it's kind of like The Crow. He kills them one by one.
Yeah.
And then he has to fight the bad guy. Again, this time they straight up kill the physical crow.
Yeah.
And they take its blood, and that gives Judah crow powers, I guess.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, Ash is just a normal guy now. Because in the first movie, the crow wasn't fully dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, Eric could maybe be killed, but as long as that crow's alive, he should be fine. But then I guess the spirit world went, uh-oh, we better send some extra crows down there to supercharge him. And then he shoots a bunch of crows at Judah, who turns into a CGI blob and then disappears. Because he was originally supposed to have all his flesh and stuff ripped off. Yeah, but then they were like, we're not animating that.
Yeah, that's in the comic.
Yeah. No, they're like, yeah, throw like a blur effect. And
Let's just half-ass it at this point. We made it to the end.
Yes.
Once again, it's like you made this super successful movie that made you so much money. Let's make a sequel and take $2 million away from it. That makes sense.
And then I bet you they like were written into a corner. Maybe they couldn't get Mia Kirshner. They're like, oh wait, we're stuck with the girl dies ending. And I'm like, oh, it's kind of like a sad ending because it's like, oh, that lady died. Well, at least I get to hang out with my dead son again. Bye. It's like, oh.
Yeah. The dead son that I was just about to just be like, nah, fuck it. I like it here.
That's another thing is I don't like that ending at all.
Yeah.
The fact of like, no. You go with your son, dude. Like, no, fucking, you barely know this bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a little forced, the whole romance. But I mean, it would have been an interesting ending where like he's just doomed to be on Earth forever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's how the comic is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something different. It's something it's like, hey, we're still getting the whole revenge stuff that we liked and the crow visuals, but like the story, it's sad the story was a little bit different and was chopped up. For me, this is my Alien 3 of the Crow franchise where like I still kind of like it. I'm like, I love the visuals. I love the feel of it.
Yeah.
I love what they were going for. And it just sucks knowing that there is a better movie. But unlike Alien 3, we haven't gotten that better movie. Whereas Alien 3, you can now get the assembly cut. Even looks like Alien 3 with the grungy, greenish, yellowish tint. Yeah, Yeah, they almost got it.
I wonder. That's one thing I should have got a ROM of the game and played the game.
I was gonna say I've seen the Angry Video Game Nerd.
Oh, it's all. If you open this up, it's just full of game advertisements and stuff like that, and them trying to sell Crow promotional shit.
But yeah, that's all I got to say for Crow City of Angels. It tried, and unfortunately it failed. Any last words on Crow City of Angels before we move on?
No, I feel like that's spot on. It was a close shot, but they missed.
I understand that they were trying to do something different, and if they actually succeeded and got to see something different, that would have been like, I guess, okay, it's not a complete knockoff. So we did try to do something different. We just didn't succeed. But the fact that it was just like butchered to make it look like the original, and it just made it 10 times worse.
Yeah,
because it's like obviously you're comparing it to the original, trying to make another or like the original, and that just I think really tanks it a lot, to be honest.
Yes, and then after that they went, what are we going to do next? And they went, let's remake the first one as a TV show that then gets canceled. We'll talk about that some other time. We're not including that in the movies, but that was Crow Stairway to Heaven, which was the Eric Draven story again. The Skull Cowboy's in there, but he doesn't look like a skull.
I wish I would have bought, when Movie Gallery went out of business, there was a box of VHS tapes, and I saw it right there, had it in my hands, and for some reason I didn't buy it. That would have been something nice to have.
How dare you? Some Crow fan you are.
I know, I had a Wicked Prayer screener. They didn't even make it on VHS, but I had a VHS screener of it, and my mom gave it to Goodwill.
But yeah, so City of Angels didn't impress anyone. The show got canceled. But you know, how are they going to fix the Crow? We need some salvation for the Crow. Which is when we got the Crow's salvation. Could you please read the back of the box, Logan?
All right.